Hi everyone, hope you're doing really well out there. Today I'm going to speak to you about sovereignty, what it means to be sovereignty, what is sovereignty, because I believe rediscovering our sovereignty, our true sovereignty, is one of the keys out of the mess that we are in currently. So guys, if you're new to the channel, please consider liking, subscribing, all that jazz. Let's get into it. Guys, from cradle to grave, we are told to look at figures of authority to tell us what to do, how to run our lives, to tell us what the quote-unquote truth is. And to question authority, we get punished. And that can be with our parents, it can be through school with detention, even in the workplace. If we question, we can get the sack, right? So we've been trained to never question authority. It never ends well, right? And this is also propagated in the news and the media 24/7, where the government outlets basically are constantly telling us that what to do through these men and women in dark suits that apparently can tell us how to lead our lives and what to do. So over eons of time, we have become more and more disconnected with the word sovereign, what it means to be sovereign. We have been trained to give our power away, and it has led us to the situation that we're in now, whereby they're using this scamdemic to take away what little rights and freedoms we had left, to really drill down on us. So it really is important that not only do we reconnect with that word, that we actually start embodying that essence, that sovereign essence. Now, the other thing to bear in mind is when you are born on this planet, by the grace of the universe, you are already gifted your rights and freedoms. No man or woman in a dark suit can take them away from you. Doesn't matter who people vote for or whatever. You know, the only rule that you have to live by is natural law, which is do no harm, cause no loss, and take no shit. Even like common law and Magna Carta and the Constitution, for me, is just another layer of the matrix. Okay, that is for those that have realized to some extent there's some corruption, something's not quite right. So here's another layer, and that's also doesn't take it far enough. Okay, because it's still man-made law. And even when you look at the word government, in Latin the word is gubernare, which actually means mind control. So the actual word government means mind control. It's telling you, right? And what they've done, there's a series of inversions here with words. Okay, so they invert everything in this world. You know, freedom is slavery, all that stuff. And yeah, so what they've done, the word sovereign, they've used it for themselves, for kings, queens, the ruling class, you know, the 1%, whatever you want to refer to them as. So they call themselves sovereign when they know full well that we are the ones that are truly sovereign, and they need our energy more than we need them. That's the inversion. But they've used that word, spun it around, and they use it to refer to themselves as. Again, taking us away psychologically from what we are. Because if they're sovereign, they're the ones with all the power, right? Wrong. They've also inverted the word anarchy. The true meaning of the word anarchy means without rulers. So there's mind control around that word, whereby if you mention the word anarchy to people, their immediate response is, well, that's chaos. Okay, you see them using that word very often in the news and media. There's anarchy. Donald Trump, the savior, uses it a lot. And the word anarchy just literally means without rulers. So it has very positive connotations. And again, they've inverted that. So anyone that goes down that rabbit hole will think, well, there's already chaos. Even though we've already got complete chaos anyway. This is the joke that people say to me, yeah, but without government, there'll be chaos. Well, hang on a minute. Look around you. There already is chaos, right? It can't get much worse than what it already is. So we need to re-understand or relearn what those words mean, okay? And the other things to mention um, is what has happened when we give our power away and we put our trust in others the way we have, is we lose all sense of self-responsibility. So we kind of put it in the hands of other people to make the decisions for us, and then we wonder why it all goes to rat shit. Because we've come away from taking responsibility in our own lives. And again, if you keep giving your power away to people outside yourself, you're subject to the consequences. So we've come away from taking self-responsibility, not only in our own lives, but on a collective level as well. And there's a lot of deception out there in terms of, we live in a holographic matrix, and yeah, maybe we do, but it kind of abstains our own creative abilities and what we have co-created here with the universe through our ignorance, through our apathetic nature, the way we have really just become a species that kind of cares only about themselves, me mentality. We've lost that disconnection to each other. And so what is being created as a response to that is the situation that we have now. And the good thing is that many people are starting to understand that actually we have a big hand in being responsible for what we allow to be created here, and we need to get involved. And more people are doing that. But we have to come away from that mindset of, I'm just going to sit back, I'm going to let government, I'm going to let the guru, I'm going to let the, whatever, take responsibility for my life. Because ultimately it only ends in tears. And you see people, just meeting people, they tell you about their lives. This is the other thing, we're not looking at the fact that every decision we make every action has a counter reaction, either positive or negative. This is natural law in process. This is cause and effect. And you see and you talk to people sometimes and they're saying, well, I did this and then this happened and I did this and then this happened. And you can see, well, no wonder, look at the decisions you're making. Because we've become very lax, very careless with our decisions in our own lives. Not everyone's perfect. I'm not perfect. But I'm very aware that there is this cause and effect dynamic going on, and that there's no escaping that. Not in this reality, at least. And so we have to take responsibility for the decisions that we make in our lives. Otherwise, we're going to get stung. And that's every single little decision that we make, even down to, for example, if you go and buy a McDonald's, there's a lot of toxic stuff in there. The effect of you buying that McDonald's is going to have a detrimental effect on your health. So you have free will to choose, but the consequences are still going to be there. So you might eat that McDonald's, but you might feel pretty bad after eating it. And if you keep eating that McDonald's, you're going to get fat, you're going to get diabetes, and then what do people do when that happens? They give their power away again to a doctor, the pharmaceutical industry. They pump them full of drugs, they get sicker, because all the time we're not being responsible for our decisions and we're giving our power away to other people. Don't get me wrong. There are times where, you need a helping hand. The work that I do, I help people. If I need if my electrics go down here, I'm going to call in an electrician, right? There is a difference, yeah? But it's when we continuously give our power away, that is when we start making mistakes, bad things happen in our life. And what's happened over time, humanity is making more and more bad decisions, or we're not paying attention to the things that matter, the things that we need to address. and things are being let slide, and now we have all this chaos around us because we've not been interested. That's the fact of it. Most people on the planet are just concerned about themselves. They're not connected to the fact that we're all in a tapestry of life together, and we all have a collective responsibility in what we create. But that is changing, thank God. So cause and effect is, and responsibility for our decisions is very important. I would say courage too. Courage in many forms. Courage when you see injustices in the world, because although you're a sovereign being, as a sovereign being you understand that you have a role to play in the collective. You are also there to help the vulnerable, the young, the people that need help in society. And sometimes that means stepping into courage, which for me is the highest form of love, because it involves risk, So embodying that courage within yourself is part of sovereign energy. Speaking out when you need to speak out. Not wearing a mask when child abusers are telling you to wear a mask. Making the tougher decisions in life, where maybe it might lead to uncertainty. Maybe it might lead to you being physically damaged, But is it the right thing to do? And also, alongside that, is authenticity, courage to be your authentic self. We are so wonderful. We are so, although we are part of a collective, we very much have our individual expression. So I will have qualities and gifts that you may have, and you will have qualities and gifts that I don't have. My job as a sovereign being is to fully express my gift box, if you like. Your job as a sovereign being is to fully express yours. And quite often we hold back. We hold back from expressing who we truly are for fear of what people think of us. The fear of what people think of us is the biggest prison that we can put ourselves in. It holds us back from who we really are. And really we have a responsibility not only to ourselves, but to the universe and to everyone else that we're sharing this reality with, to fully express our true self. Because we all have a little piece of the puzzle. So everyone is needed right now. The world needs you to express who you truly are to the fullest. It doesn't need a half-cut version of you, right? Especially not right now. We need 100% authenticity of who you truly are. And when you express the true self and you meet other people who are expressing the true self, you have a very, very interesting world. People are very interesting. And what's happened is because people are not doing that, everyone thinks the same, everyone has the same opinions, everyone's got this little me syndrome, and it's boring. And that's when we become a slave race. When you have individuality expressed in authenticity, it's a lot harder for people to control, okay? So courage, which another avenue off that is victimhood, okay? So I'm not demeaning people's trauma. Everyone has trauma. I work with a lot of people of trauma, huge traumas, some of them. But although we're not responsible for our trauma, we're responsible for healing our trauma. And what we have is a victim mentality society. You meet these people, 50, 60 years old, still replaying what happened to them when they were 20. Because they don't want to face the dark night of the soul. They don't want to take responsibility. Again, responsibility for what they've allowed to be created. Okay, they had a bad start, maybe a horrific start. But I've worked with people that have had the most unbelievable horrific starts in life, gone through that, healed themselves, come out of the other side. They've taken responsibility. So we have this culture of victim, of blame, it was his fault, it's her fault, it's the government's fault. No, the buck stops with us. We are the creator beings. As I said in my last video, we are sovereign beings. We have to take responsibility for what we have allowed to create in our own lives and as a collective. Because only then, when we do that, will this reality start to change. Because this leads on to my next point, which is saviour programs. See it so much in the New Age. I've spoken about this in so many videos. People looking at gurus, people looking at the Galactic Federation of Light, people looking to channel Arcturians. The worst one at the moment I've spoken about is Donald Trump syndrome. You know, a vast majority of people are putting all their eggs in that basket, which is extremely dangerous. You know, we should never look to government to solve government. Anyone that gets to that position, you know, they're going to be in the cult, right? Doesn't matter what he says, look at what he's done. America is more enslaved than ever. Look at the actions, look at the suicides, they're through the roof. People queuing at food banks. We have to come away from giving our power away to these entities or politicians that don't have our best interests at heart. It's been proven over time that they don't. And a lot of these false white light beings, as I refer to them all, are part of what I would call this false God matrix. So there's a false God here, a religious God, feeding on people's energy. They're praying to him, and they're working for this false God. We're way beyond this false God matrix. But this false God matrix wants to keep us. It's all about control. What kind of God needs you to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning to start praying? What kind of narcissistic God needs so much validation that if you don't believe in him, you're going to go to hell? It's not the indication of a very loving God. That tells you something's not right. Because there is this false God matrix that is controlling what is going on here. And we go way beyond. We are the creative spark of the universe, incarnated, each and every one of us. That is what they don't want you to know. That is what they don't want you to find out. That is what we need to go back to. As I said in my last video, that is the exciting thing. We each have universe within us. That's the deception. They're terrified of you understanding that truth, or understanding that truth, should I say. So we need to drop the saviour programs. You can admire someone, by all means. You can respect someone, by all means. There's many people that I respect. There's many people that I admire. But I do not give my power away. I'm not there worshipping them. That's the difference. Yeah, and just understanding that we're spiritual beings in a meat suit. You know? We don't die. We live forever in many different forms. And some man or woman in a dark suit is going to tell me that I have to wear a mask when I'm embodying the universe, infinite consciousness. I don't think so. So guys, we need to rediscover, we need to fall in love with that word sovereign. We need to embody our own sovereignty. We need to live by that in every day, by our thoughts, emotions, and our actions. We need to take responsibility. And the more of us that do that, the quicker we're going to get out of this. One by one by one. That's what it's going to take. So much love to you all. Guys, please consider liking, subscribing, all that jazz again. And I will see you on the next one. Take care.